Charlotte, this is Ginny, and so we're going to continue with the placeboard training that we've been doing the past couple of weeks really. I started it about 10 days ago. So far Ginny's got used to going on the board, she's happy on the board, she likes going on there and she understands that she gets food when she goes on there so long as she's sat. She's also quite steady on there now, she's not coming off too much. I've done a lot of work on getting her to just be quite steady and stable when she's on the board and staying there and waiting. So now what I want her to do is learn when I say Ginny place to go onto the board to get her reward. Okay, so that's sort of the next step once you've got your puppy really stable on the board and sitting there. Okay, so food, lots of food in my hand, and I'm just going to start by getting Ginny onto the board. Good girl, place. When she's on the board, say place, okay, so the dog gets used to the fact that place is a word that they hear when they are on the board. Good girl, place. Place. Okay, so she's getting quite good at staying on there. She doesn't understand it as stay, but all of my gestures suggest to her that it is stay. At the moment, the only word that I use is place. Good girl, place. Place. Good. Okay, and we can switch sides. Good girl, place. And then to the dog from a different side. Be aware that when you reward them, good girl, place. When you reward them, you want good eye contact and you want to be rewarding as they are sat with all 4 feet on the floor or on the board. Otherwise you'll get a jumper. In place. Good girl, place. So just try and be sure that once that food is given to the dog, the feet are all on the board, not jumping up. Good girl, place. You can see you're getting quite good eye contact with her now. Good girl, place. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to ask her to come off the board. I don't feed food reward off the board, so I'll just reward her with praise. Okay, so if she does it of her own accord, that's her pushing me to make a decision. I'm not going to reward that. I'm just going to ignore that, and then I'll reward her in a minute for just going back on the board. Good girl, place. Okay. Good girl, place. Ginny. So that time I'm happy she came off the board, so I'm going to fuss her for all that. And then I'm going to say, Ginny, place. Okay, and I'm luring the dog using food. Okay, so I'm luring her with food back onto the board. Good girl, place. Yeah. And all this is operant conditioning. Getting your dog used to you moving around and it being of no consequence. So it's really good for your sit-stay training. See, she jumped up there and I shouldn't have given her the treat. Good girl. You can see what starts to happen if you're not very vigilant on it. But basically I'm just trying to teach her that it doesn't matter what I do, I want you to stay on that board. Okay? So it's really good for sit-stay training. Go, please. Okay, so we want to really make sure the dog is going to stay on the board before we, Ginny, good, yeah, I'll call them off and then ask them to go back. Ginny, place. So that time the word place came in as the dog was entering the board rather than the dog being on the board. Good girl, place. And I'm still using a hand gesture to get the dog onto the board. As you get more progressed with that, you can just use vocalization. You don't need to use the hand gestures. Good girl, place. Good girl. So let's try again. Good girl. In rewarding the choice that she made there, she thought about moving off and she decided to stay on. Good girl, place. Ginny, oh, good girl, Ginny. Ginny, place. Good girl. Good girl. And you can see I was starting to move that word into the equation when the dog is further away from the board, but still the hand gesture is in. Okay, place. So I'm still indicating to the dog to go on the board. Yeah. Place. Good girl, place. When a dog's in the initiation phase of learning, you can't really overdo your instruction word, so long as it's doing the action you want it to do. So place, good girl, place. As they get better at it, you start to reduce it. Good. Keep requiring eye contact. Okay, good girl. And then we'll ask her off again. Ginny, 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 Ginny. See, now she didn't want to come off. So I have to use a bit more encouragement. Good girl. Gin away is a good thing. Good girl. Ginny, place. Good girl. So less of a hand gesture. It was a very small gesture. You used the vocalisation of place as the dog was going towards the board but not on it. And she made the choice to go on there. Good girl, place. Good girl. Once more then, Ginny. You see how she's learning there's no benefit to coming off the board, apart from some first good girls. Not as good as going on there for the fingers, good girl. Ginny, place. Good, good girl. Good girl. So that's teaching a puppy to enter a board. I'm Charlotte, and that's Ginny, and we're from Gundog.